What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. From my understanding, Crump held a emergency press conference, and he wants a federal review. So they're going to try to push the feds to look at this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to first we're going to listen to some of this right now. Then I'll come back with my thoughts on it. This is for those that didn't hear it yet.
Right.
Good morning. Let me say the case that we have been dealing with now for the last several weeks around Nolan Wells is indicative of many cases around the country that have raised serious questions with racial overtones. Attorney Crump and I are going tomorrow, where I'm doing the eulogy for a young Black man in Madison, Wisconsin, homeless, and they say had a knife, and there's the tape of him being shot. 3 cops surrounding him, shot and killed, 4 shots. And these cases building up in a climate of an administration in Washington that we cannot feel will objectively investigate. There was a time that we could say if state authorities fail us, we can go to the Justice Department. Even under George Bush, we went to the Justice Department. We, at this point, have to hope that one, we could deal with civil courts, or secondly, that there's a balance of power with the Democrats taking the House in November, and maybe the Judiciary Committee under that can at least put a check and balance on cases that need to be investigated. But we are right now where we have 2 parents, lovely parents, I've gotten to know them, that really don't have an answer to the question, is it a civil rights violation or not? And we do not know. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? How do you trust people that come back from something that happened and never really give you a straight story of what happened, including you have the keys to the car? So when you have more questions than answers, you have to have people that will drive the answers out, and that's what we do. And that's why I've been involved, and that's why we stay involved. And it gets worse and worse and worse. The parent of one of the boys threatening to sue us for asking a question. Imagine that now. Some of y'all call it, what do you feel about the parents? One of the boys says he's going to sue you and Ben Crump. Sue us for what? For saying what happened? So we've gone back that far. And that is why we're going to stand with these parents, because usually, I come from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there. I don't come from the South. But my mother used to bring me down south to my grandmother in Dothan, Alabama. And Congresswoman, my grandmother told me, you see that pen over there? I said, yes. She said, that's a pen of hogs and pigs. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, always know something. If you take a brick and you throw it in that pile, the hog that hollers is the hog you hit. There's too much hollering going on in Mississippi that we haven't hit something. I can't figure out which one we hit, but we hit something. Because now they talking about lawsuits. They threatening threatening a mother of a child, trying to get her job taken. You wouldn't be hollering if we wasn't hitting something. And we're going to stay on that, and we're going to stay on it all the way. in light of that, before attorney,
I don't know if you guys heard what I said in a previous live chat. I said a hit dog will holler. I had closed with that. That's an old saying. All these sayings remain true today. There's nothing new under the sun. But a hit dog will holler, baby.
and I call him the Attorney General of Black America, gives us the legal basis, and then we hear from the parents. Congresswoman who lived herself through dealing with the whole tragedy of her own son. That's how we met. On a plane. She was a flight attendant at the time. And she stopped me on the plane and said, "Well, man, why ain't you dealing with my son's case?" And we started a relationship. She ended up being elected right here in Georgia and reelected. They redrew her lines and she was reelected anyhow. The lines couldn't reduce the favor of the people. Congresswoman Lucy McBath.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to say thank you to Reverend Al Sharpton, and also thank you to Attorney Crump for being the armor bearers for this family, the Nolan's family. It's a really, really sad occasion that we're here again. I was just saying to my staff on the way in, it's like this brings back so many vivid memories for me and my own family, having lost Jordan to unnecessary gun violence in November 2012, Black Friday, simply because he was Black and playing loud music in his car. And so here we are again today, here for the loss of another Black young man in our community. And we find ourselves asking the same questions. How did it happen? Why did it happen? And this family stands here demanding answers. This family deserves answers. I myself sought the same justice for my son, Jordan, that they're seeking for theirs, and they deserve answers. And they deserve justice. Amen. Justice that should not be denied this family, or should it ever be denied to any of our children or our lost loved ones. As a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm the second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. We are demanding a full federal investigation. Kash Patel, we're demanding a full federal investigation as to what has actually happened to Nolan Wells. We want to make sure that every stone is unturned, because his life matters. All of our children's and our families' lives matter. And we must fight back. We must stand up, and we must demand accountability for this family's loss. We cannot turn a blind eye to what continues to happen again and again and again. That's the reason why I ran for Congress, to make sure that we continue to put a face on what's happening to our families and our communities every single day. We must say Nolan's name. Say his name. Lift his name. And as the national Black journalists of this country, you have the ability to be able to lift this story and not let it die. We see over and over again these kinds of tragedies in our communities that continue to happen. And they make it to CNN. They make it to MSN Now. They make it to our local news for maybe 30 days, if that. And then the stories are gone. And the carnage is left with the families and the communities that have lost someone that they love. So I thank the National Black Journalists. Thank you for lifting this family story. Do not let it die. Continue to say his name. Continue to tell his story. because they deserve justice, and it matters. It mattered for me. It mattered for Trayvon. It mattered for Eric Brown. It matters for all of our loved ones that we have lost.
As Attorney Crump comes, let me say, as Congressman McBath has said, the caucus has asked federal government to look into it. For those of us that are worried about the politicalization of the present administration, that is why January becomes important, that we have a judiciary committee that can also monitor when investigation happens now or does not happen. So it won't end there. They may come out with any announcement they want in the next month or so. We having a big march August 28th in Washington we must deal with voting rights. So we have the right people in so we can check and balance. I want to say to people in Mississippi, whatever investigation you come with, once we have a fair and balanced government, your investigation will be investigated. It will not end with what they say in Mississippi. Attorney General of Black America, Benjamin Crump.
Thank you so much, Mentor. Reverend Allen, thank you for helping not only lead the effort to get to the truth, but keeping this family in your prayers as you have done so many more families, giving them support. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Ahmad Smith. We have the honor of representing the family of Nolan Wells. Obviously, you all have come to know his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley. And this is hard. I heard Congresswoman McBath, who lost her son Jordan almost 12 years ago. And it's still raw and emotional when you hear her talk about the loss of a child. I mean, he's not coming back. And that is the story. Everything else is just, hyperbole, is distractions. The story is what happened to Nolan Wells. Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something. I'm thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton and Mr. Tyler Perry and Terrell Owens and Byron Allen putting up these rewards. I understand others have now put up rewards, and that's good because that means we all have the same objective. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells, and it is urgent. It is urgent because each day that goes by, you worry, will we ever get to the truth? And so that's why we want to thank CBC for calling on the federal authorities and anybody else who has resources to help this family get to the truth of what happened to their son. I know I was talking to Kristen Clark, and she said, no, let's make sure that all taxpayers' money that goes to support federal resources apply to our children too. I mean, let's say that nobody should say, oh, it doesn't matter that much because it's a black child. No, it matters. All of our children matter. And so we are going to continue every day to say his name, Attorney Hertz, Attorney Park, Attorney Smith, trying to work with the local district attorney to give them what they need to do a thorough, fair, full, impartial investigation. That's what we're asking for. Everything else is just a distraction because Nolan's birthday is next Wednesday, August 19th. It is going to be extremely difficult for his mother, his father, and his family because this August 19th will be like no other that they've ever had for the last 19 years. I mean, it's a milestone when your child gets to be 18 years old. You try to breathe a little easier, Reverend. Now you say, man, we almost got them there. They at the cusp of being an adult, cusp of manhood. And you heard how Elmore was working so hard, him and Nolan, his football career. I mean, he had a good start, but this was really going to be his year. I mean, so much hope, so much promise. And then July 4th came, and 4th of July will never be the same to Christine and Elmore. And on the 19th, next Wednesday, his family, we're all asking for prayer for Nolan. I know there's going to be a prayer visual in Ocean Springs. I know Reverend Al is going to work to make sure we're all praying all across the nation. But y'all, let's pray. Can we pray together in unity to say, let's get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells? Can we do that, America? Can we at least come together in unity on his birthday? Everybody who claimed to ever be a friend of his, can we come together in unity and pray for the truth and try to have love in our hearts for this family, for this brokenhearted mother and father, his sisters and brothers? Can we try to give them grace and give them love and pray for their humanity, for their son who was lost on 4th of July and is never coming back? Is that so much to ask? Let's have a national day of prayer on August 19th, next Wednesday, for Nolan Wells. And at this time, we hear from his mother and father, then Eric, and us will try to answer your questions.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having us, for platforming our son's story. As many of you know, his 19th birthday is next Wednesday. And it's, as the days gets closer, and it's definitely getting harder, that realization is really sinking in. That we don't have our son physically here anymore. And I think a lot of people have forgotten. Only thing we want to know is what happened. That's all we want to know, is what happened to our son. Because many parents out there, you still have your children. You still can hug them. You still can call them. You still can celebrate their life with them. And we do not have that anymore. Our lives have forever changed. This new normal is something I would never wish on anyone, not even my worst enemy. The hurt that we feel daily, the conversations that we have to have, not just with each other, but also with our other children as they are grieving as well. So we ask that everyone, please, next Wednesday, join us in prayer. As for us as a family, but also too for everyone out there, but especially for Nolan and the process that we're going through. And again, we thank you so much.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who's constantly keeping our son's story in the forefront. You don't know how much we really appreciate that. Nolan brought light to our family. He was the fun in it. And with his birthday coming up, like my wife said, we have to deal with a new normal. Who knows what these years are gonna bring, but we know that these years on August 19th is gonna bring a lot of hurt, some laughter as we think about memories. But as far as our family, a very big piece will no longer be there. We just want the truth. We just want to know what any other parent would want to know. We're asking the questions any parent would ask. And if you feel that something's wrong with that, then that's a problem that you have to deal with. But as far as us and our family, we're just asking for truth, transparency, and to please keep us in your prayers. Next week is going to be a hard week, and the years follow are going to be hard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Christian and Elmore, it never gets easy, Reverend Al. And they're asking, I know Reverend Jamal Bryant is coming to Ocean Springs. Anybody who can come to Ocean Springs to be at the prayer visual with them on a Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., please come. And if you can't come, please have prayer visuals in your city and your communities. We need to find out what happened. Attorney Hurts, Attorney Parks, and Reverend Allen, as we're trying to answer your questions. The family, obviously, the motion that they'll try to answer questions if they can. Any questions?
Hello, my name is Logan John with NABJ.
Yeah, give us where you're calling, where you.
NABJ News.
Okay.
What do you believe accountability and justice for Nolan Walls should look like?
It's very simple. As we always say, if it was your child, what will accountability and justice look like? Well, that's the same thing they want for their child. Whatever it would be for your child, that's the same thing they want. Whatever investigation you would do for your child, that's the same investigation they want. We're not asking for anything special. We just want equal justice for our children too.
And I think that we must be very much emphasizing is they have said, again, here with the press conferences and statements they made throughout, when they started at our headquarters in Harlem speaking to the press, they're not trying to come to conclusion. The other side did, saying that there was no foul play. They're trying to tell us what happened. And we're going to stand with them on that, and as well as other cases around the country. Yes, sir.
I'm Ezekiel Telemacher with ABC 24. There's been a lot of misinformation and rumors spreading on social media. Is there anything that you guys would like to debunk that you've seen that has stood out to you?
Let me just say this.
Well, I mean, I think that social media has distorted a lot. I think for myself and Ben, we're public figures that you're gonna have social media lie on us every day. I don't even know if I'm really here according to social media. But what hurts us is the distortions they've done on the family, where they've harassed her in her job and sent stuff to their house, distorted with the father's question. They didn't ask to be public figures. They only are trying to get justice for their son. So I would just say, whatever social media people are trying to get likes and hits and all, do that against people like me that offered ourselves, but they didn't ask for this. All they want is what happened to their son.
And I'll simply say this because that question has come up, and I released a statement, and I want to be clear about it. We defend the First Amendment rights of content creators reporting on Nolan Wells' case. We stand with content creators, independent journalists, and citizens who are responsibly reporting on the Nolan Wells case and asking legitimate questions in pursuit of truth and accountability. The First Amendment protects robust public discussion on matters of public concern And those protections are not reserved just for traditional media. We are deeply concerned when cease and desist letters, threatened lawsuits, or other legal pressure become tools to intimidate or silence lawful scrutiny. There is an important difference between knowingly spreading false information and asking questions, examining. I want to make sure I get it exactly as we said. Okay. There's an important difference between knowingly spreading false information and asking questions, examining evidence, identifying inconsistencies, expressing opinions, and demanding transparency. Reporting should not be silent. Reporting should not be silenced, and legitimate questions should not be met with intimidation. Those seeking truth and accountability in the Nolan Wells case have every right to continue asking questions and demanding answers, because we are America and we have a right to the First Amendment that includes Black people and all people.
Hi, Denise Clay Murray, Philadelphia Hall Monitor. My question is for Congresswoman McBath. Has the formal request for the FBI from the Congressional Black Caucus been delivered to the FBI, and what deadline have you given them for a response?
We've actually we've actually written a letter, a formal letter, and it's already been executed. We've already sent it forth. We are giving them time to respond. We did not give them a specific deadline, but we did say that we are expecting to have an answer as soon as we possibly can.
Attorney Crump, Ryan Young from CNN. Thank you to the family again for standing here and talking to us. There's been a lot about the meeting that you were supposed to have with the DA's office and the cooperation that they were supposed to be giving. Can you update us and tell us whether or not the family has had any contact with the DA's office? Are they talking with you? Have investigators put their arms around you at all?
Attorney Eric Hertz and Attorney Parker.
I'm Eric Hertz, law firm Eric J. Hertz PC, and I am heading the independent investigation in this case. I think the first thing, before I get to the exact question, is what's worse than losing a child? Probably nothing. But what makes it horrible is not knowing, and transparency is the key. So with us going into this case as doing an independent investigation, we first thank all the people on stage, all the people that have helped, and we thank you, the media. We have had much communication with the district attorney, and I feel that is confidential. We have cooperated, I can tell you that, and we just want to cooperate like anyone else would have to cooperate, and we're continuing to do that.
Real quick, guys, the gentleman that's speaking is one of the lawyers for the family. If anybody is going to get something done, it's going to be him. And I'll explain it in a minute. And I'm also going to explain why this could potentially be a terroristic event. Some people don't know that certain organizations exist. I can point them out to you online where to look. They still hold group chats online and different things like that. And they're encouraging young membership. But I'll get into that in a second.
The duty to our clients.
So just to address that specifically, you may already realize and already know there was a meeting on July 15th in Mississippi with the DA's office. At that meeting, there were several things discussed about the investigation regarding Nolan Wells and what happened to him. In that meeting, there were several things that were set out and agreed to. And we expect the DA, as well as our own team, to follow those agreements.
Yes, sir.
And Greg Dunmore from Post Beat Media out of Detroit, the ABC sister station TV 20. Evil prevails when good men and women remain silent when the facts come out, and they will come out. If it indicates that something sinister did not happen and it was a freak accident, will you believe that the truth is still not being revealed? Because if the truth is not going to indicate on some level that something sinister was done, will you not believe it to be something else? If the truth is that it was not.
If the truth comes out,
yes,
and it's clear, then we will accept the truth. That's all we're asking for. And we only have said that the people that are attacking them for raising the question of the truth say the same thing. I think that we've leaned over backwards in every press event, at the funeral, me doing the eulogy, saying we weren't going to prejudge. Yet they keep getting lambasted. Imagine this. You're losing your child and you're being attacked for asking what happened. I mean, they're not political figures. Why are they under attack for asking for the truth? So it's not about us accepting, it's about whether or not those involved can accept. Yeah.
Yes, you know how much Black Wall Street Times.
Well, they always try to shut us up. I will not be silenced. Yes, on.
Yes, Nehemiah Franklin.
Don't move the mic. Okay.
Try this again. Okay. Yes, Nehemiah Frank with the Black Wall Street Times out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Condolences to you both. My question is for Mr. Wansley. When you went to Jack's house and he used the past tense and literally said to you, from what you told us, the media, that the brother, or that he said that Nolan was like a brother a day before the body actually washed up, was that like alarm? Did it send any alarm bells through you at all?
Put yourself in a father's shoes and you just found out that your child is missing. The only thing you want to know is where he is. Trying to go back and think about specific words at that moment, I wasn't thinking about that. My mind and my focus was finding my whereabouts of my son.
Hey, Tom Jones, reporter for WSB TV here in Atlanta. I keep hearing about this young lady that Nolan left with. Has anybody managed to find her or talk to her?
I think that what we're trying to carefully do is not impugn the investigation. So a lot of what may and may not have happened in terms of the dialogue with the lawyers and the family would not be prudent to testify on WSB Atlanta.
Hi, my name is Jahara Wilson with Glavity. You're calling on the Department of Justice to open an independent federal review of Nolan's death. What do you believe federal investigators could uncover that local and state authorities?
Let me clarify also, Congresswoman, want to give some clarity.
Also, I do want to clarify that we've given them 7 days to respond with 7 days. So I'm sorry about that.
Your question was, what do we hope to get from them, the federal investigation? What anybody will hope. We are taxpayers too. It's the federal resources that can offer resources to help investigate the matter thoroughly. And so Nolan was not only Christine and Elmo's child, but when you think about it in a philosophical way, he was all of our children. But by the grace of God, it could be our child next. And as American citizens, we have the absolute right to say our federal government should extend resources for our children like they will extend to everybody else. I would never forget when President Obama, with Reverend Al and I, when Trayvon Martin was unalive. And he said that it's important that we extend all of the resources of the federal government to help this family get to answers of the truth. And that's all you would want if it was your child. That's all they want if their child. Every resource available, help me, help us get to the truth.
And let me say that and answer that. It's important that you understand that when we raise these issues, that's all what we wanted. We raised the issue. I was out front. Ben was the attorney with Trayvon Martin. And we finally got George Zimmerman in court. When the jury said not guilty, we said we disagreed, but we didn't go and attack his parents. We didn't go and chase him down. We accepted that. When we had the killing in Missouri with Michael Brown, and President Obama was president, we asked for the federal government to come in there. Eric Holder and them investigated the case and said there was no federal case that they could bring. We accepted that. So don't act like we don't accept it. We accept it when Michael Brown's case didn't go federal. We accept things when they're fair, but we want them to be fair. That's why I said, as the congressman said, they're giving them 7 days. The FBI come back either way, but we want it reviewed by the Congress at some point. I'm on my way tomorrow to Madison, Wisconsin, to deal with Ruiz shot on camera. Well, man, there's a company trying to get a contract that is in business with ICE. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. We look at it from a civil rights point of view. They're dealing with it from their son. This is flesh and blood.
Yes, ma'am.
Susanna Capaluca with NPR. Has the DA said anything to your attorneys regarding the joint investigation of the cell phone?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
I'm sorry. Has the DA said anything, given any guidance on the joint investigation of the cell phone?
We are in constant communication, and just like anything, I'd like to address the gentleman sitting next to you. What was your name again?
Oh,
Yeah, you get 2 shots. Yeah.
this is Greg Dunmore.
Okay. Just to address Greg's question, the truth has to be proven and shown with the methodology, the way they came about. Someone just can't come out and say, hey, I have a Ferrari, and then you believe they have a Ferrari. I don't have a Ferrari. The truth has to be shown. You got to bring them to your garage, show them the title. That's the truth. And yes, we will accept the truth. So the same way with what the young lady sitting next to you is saying, which is we have procedures that the courts require that we as lawyers ethically have to follow in order to turn over evidence. There's chains of custody. There's protected private information. And we are willing, in fact, today, I'm not doing anything the rest of the day, to meet with the FBI and our person, our expert, to go over that phone. And we've made that clear. So we're ready to do that at any moment.
We just want to say one last point on that.
I'm going to back up a little bit. So just to clarify, what the agreement was that the DA's office, and this is the Jackson County DA's office, as well as our forensic team, and possibly the FBI, were going to together download and examine the phone. So it's done one time with everybody together, right? This is very common in the law. I mean, what you all may be more used to is when there's a terrible car accident, and then there's an examination of that car, and everybody comes together one time. They don't move that car around, and everybody does their own thing. This is what is supposed to happen. We are waiting for the DA to determine the time, the place, the date. Let us know, and we are going to be there with our forensics team and anybody else, but it's done one time, one examination. We're ready for it to happen.
Julie Walker, Associated Press. Can you give us a sort of a timeline or what's next going forward, including any possible lawsuits that would be filed, not against you as you had mentioned before, but that you would be filing? And then the completion of the independent autopsy and how that's moving along and anything else that would be moving forward. And I know you had mentioned you wanted that national day. Other than that, anything in the future?
Well, we want to make sure people understand we're going to follow the truth wherever it leads us. There's been a lot made about we want to come and bring some lawsuit. When Christina Elmore called me, we weren't thinking about bringing a lawsuit. We were thinking about just helping them get to the truth. That is a vehicle that we can use to get to the truth if the facts tell us that. We send out preservation letters and everybody said, oh, they're going to sue them. No. We send out preservation letters to preserve the evidence. And in those standard letters, you say litigation is reasonably anticipated to say, don't get rid of the evidence. We're on record that we want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what's going to lead us in what we do. It's about the evidence, nothing else. And this family has always said from day one, even when I called Reverend Allen, we talked to him, they have been consistent. We want to know what happened to our child. Everything else is just, it's just clickbait and everything. It's about what happened to our child. Black press, NABJ, we need you now more than ever to keep everybody focused. What happened to this 18-year-old Black teenager in Mississippi? Because there have been questions when you look at the history of the Deep South where young Black people are unalive and nobody ever gets any answers. Well, we want Nolan Wells not to be like many others that came before him.
And that is why, as I said earlier, August 28th, the anniversary of Dr. King's March, Martin III and I we were doing a huge march in Washington, Lincoln Memorial. This will be highlighted in other cases because these things keep happening, and to protect the right to vote. So we intend to stay out on the battlefield as long as necessary. Yes.
And I'd asked about the independent also.
We understand that Dr. Roger Mitchell made himself available at any point that the district attorney's office and the medical examiner will allow him to come. He's ready, willing, and able to go do it.
You mentioned just now that multiple cases have happened like this that are similar. What do you think about this case in particular being called race politics?
About this case in particular, what?
Being considered race politics.
I think that the race politics of this case has been the reaction. I think that we're not predetermining that the case was racial. We're determining that the answer, the investigation, has been racially divided, and that's what made it racist. Yeah, I'll take two more. This is a press conference, not a revival. We're not going to be here all afternoon.
Yes, sir. Not also to be a loud voice. In particular, piggyback on what Attorney Trump said, is it the fact that this happened in Mississippi why it seems to be so difficult to get answers in regards to the young Black man's death?
And did you say Trump or rather than Crump? I'm just trying to. Yeah, we're praying for you at the prayer meeting.
I want to keep an open mind. I know there have been several attacks on us just for asking questions, and it's okay. When you think about Mississippi, they attacked all my heroes. The governor's predecessors, they attacked, Ida B. Wells, Medgar Evers, my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King, for saying that we're going to stand up for Black life and Black humanity and the right to Black people to have the Constitution applied to them as American citizens. So I'm unapologetic in my defense of Black life, Black liberty, and Black humanity. God has a calling on all our lives. And when you figure out what that calling is, you don't second guess it. You say, God, I know why I put on this earth, to be there, to stand up for our people in times when they have nobody else to stand up for them. And so whether it's Mississippi or anywhere else in the deep South, or as Malcolm X said, I heard they discriminate against Black people in the South. He said, I guess my definition of the South would be anything beneath the Canadian border, because last time I checked, they discriminate against Black people all across America. And so what we're saying is we are open-minded. We want to trust them, but we can't be naive. We have to verify everything, as Attorney Hurt said. Whatever conclusions you come to, we want the methodology. Whatever investigation you're doing, we want to know that it's the same investigation that you would do with your child, not treat Nolan any differently. That's what we're trying to do. That's all we're asking.
All right, we're gonna take one more and then we have to take the family out. Jesse Jackson Jr., who has his own radio show.
I represent KDLA today. Let me ask a question, Reverend Sharp and Reverend Crump, and even the Congresswoman. Nolan Wells's body was found on federal territory, Horn Island, run by the National Park Service. Are you aware of any death investigation opened up by the National Park Service into his death on federal land? First question, actually two parts. There have been 7 arrests made for the swimming pool, also run by the National Park Service. Why the disparity between arrests over the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial and 0 arrests, subpoenas regarding the National Park Service in the case of Nolan?
The answer, and I have the lawyer's answer, is that is why we raised it, thanks to the CBC and Congresswoman, to a federal level, because the federal government has to answer those questions of involvement, because Horn Island is federal property. And while they can have a grand jury indict around the reflection pool, then announce they're pulling back the charges, now have with a new special grand jury. They done went to a pool twice and haven't come to Horn Island one time, and it was federal property. So I think that the contradiction there is why we keep raising the question.
And also too, as a matter of record, being in Congress, there is federal oversight. And I sit on Judiciary Committee in Congress. We also have the Senate Judiciary Committee. And oftentimes there are a lot of these kinds of investigations that come before us because we have the authority for oversight. So since this is considered, at this point, would be considered something of national federal interest, that is the reason why we're asking for the accountability to make sure that this is not just swept under the rug.
And I'll say in conclusion, thank you to the media. Now more than ever, the 4th branch of government, we need you. NABJ, we need you now more than ever. We're talking about Nolan Wells, but remember, there were 2 other 18-year-old Black teenagers who were unalived in highly questionable situations. Tyler Smith and David Urban. And we need to be talking about these children. We got, the young lady, Alyssa Hackett, who was, brutalized by a state trooper and who cursed her. She's a tiny Black teenager. And, Reverend Allen, as we were looking at the video, as a girl dad, if a police officer can't have an interaction with a Black teenage girl without body slamming her, cursing her, and punching her in the face, what does that say about where we're at in America in 2026? This is about covering those stories, even when people who may run your news outlets don't want you to cover the stories. We need you to give us a voice in the tradition of Ida B. Wells. We can't have the police just writing the narratives and the reports. We need you all writing those narrative reports. And you got to challenge your white counterparts and say it. Ida B. Wells said famously, Reverend Al, the killers write the police reports. No, we need NABJ to write the reports and the narratives. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go over a few things. There's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to cover it. There's a lot going on. Why was this press conference held? That's number one. That's my first question. Why was the press conference held? Some people think that they're trying to make a mockery and trying to make a show out of this situation. Because I'm reading your comments. You guys are thinking that they're trying to make a mockery and trying to make a show out of this. But let me explain something, guys. Why Reverend Al and Attorney Crump is there. If it wasn't for them two gentlemen, we wouldn't know about this case. If it wasn't for them, this thing wouldn't have went nationwide and worldwide. That's their job, to come in and bring attention to the case so we all can know what's going on. Because prior to this, I didn't know anything about Ocean Springs, Mississippi, nor did I care. That's number one. I didn't care. I didn't care what's going on in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, because I know the history there and I know what to look out for. And I'm about to give you a presentation today to help save your children. I'm about to show you. Now, let me ask you a question before I get into my presentation. I'm going to get back to Al in a minute. Well, I'll tell you in a second, because this is going to surprise you when I say it. I guarantee you it is. It's going to surprise you. Again, Reverend Al and Crump, their main job was to spread the news on the case. That was their only job. I don't know if you saw the other attorney there. I urge you to go look and see what his last name is. He's the one that's going to work with Washington, D.C. to try to get Cash Patel and them involved. The Jays rule the country. In fact, they just bought the Lakers. That might go over some of y'all heads, but I'm not going to explain it. I'm not saying that the previous owner was forced to sell, but hey, man, you can come to your own determination on that. I'm not going to explain it to you what happened with the Lakers. I'm not going to explain it. You ever heard of a heist? That was a heist. But some people are not going to explain. They're not going to understand that. How these people have so much power. They run the country. And one of them is standing on the podium and nobody is saying nothing about him. He's standing right there on the podium. This is why those boys are nervous. Do you think they like those people down there? No. You got to educate yourself on the ninja only signs back in segregation. There was ninja only signs and there were colored only signs. Well, if there was ninja only signs, who were the color only signs for? Everybody else, including the Jays. Everybody else. They just don't talk about that part of history, but they didn't forget it. We may have forgotten it. They didn't forget. Anytime one of those people step on the scene, questions will get answered eventually. Just got to take time. That man cost money. These people cost money. Money was raised and things take time. It takes time. But behind the scenes is where this is going to get negotiated. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of jockeying for position right now. If these gentlemen was not on the case, the family would have never got answers. I'm about to explain to you historically why. I'm about to explain it in a second. But what I'm about to say to you is real, yo. It's really scary what I'm about to tell you. It's really scary. Really, 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 really scary. So that's the reason why they're holding press conferences, because they need to bring attention to this situation. Then he said they support the content creators and they support untraditional media. That's me. They were talking about us. The people that's on this case, they support us and they saying that they're trying to intimidate us with lawsuits. I don't know at any time I don't know if I'm going to ever, I'm not sure at any time if I'm going to get a cease and desist letter. I'm not afraid though, because I know my rights. I'm not afraid. I know my rights. I know I didn't say nothing wrong. I know my rights. I do. Okay. I'm not sure at any time if I'm going to get a cease and desist. If I'm going to have to start a GoFundMe, or what do you call it? Go Give, Send, Go, to raise money for a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that's going to have to be a possibility. I'm not sure. But I'm going to have to, I'll let you guys know, because I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Trust me, this case is very serious. You guys don't know. Like, for the content creators that's talking about this, some of them know how serious it is. This is very serious for all of us. Very serious. When that lawyer said some people are sucking up more oxygen than necessary, I received the message. I received it. I received it. You guys don't know what that meant. I'm not going to tell you what that meant. I know what it meant. I don't have to talk about this case, but I see that woman as my sister. And I'm going to continue to talk about, I'm not going to continue to talk about it every day, because, sometimes the soul needs a break. I need a break from this sometime. I got to talk about something else, because this right here is heavy. This is dangerous for everybody. There's a young lady that is getting threatened out there. I could have told her, being that she lives so close to the action, she got to be careful. Now, if you don't know the history of Reverend Al and how powerful he is, I'm not going to explain it to you. He's very, 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 he knows a lot of people. Let me just say this for people that don't know. He wore a wire against the mafia, and he survived. So my question to you, how did he survive? If he wore a wire and some things with the mafia back in the 80s, how did he survive? How is he still here? There's a reason for it. There's certain entities that run this country that said that it was okay. Crump is another one. A lot of you guys don't know how powerful he is. He's very powerful. Somebody had identified a long time ago that he's very smart. They identified it. They identified it when he was in undergrad. Just some people just don't know. I know, because I know people in his fraternity that I consider my brothers. They tell me. I know some behind the scene information, because I'm a Mason. I keep telling y'all that. You don't think I know people? Of course I do. I'm not active. I don't have a traveling card, but I know people. And anytime I need to make a phone call, I can. I don't have to be active. I don't have to have a traveling card. I still know people that I'm cool with. I can tell you he is fully vouched for. He's fully vouched for, man. I can just tell you this. He's fully vouched for, man. These people ain't no joke. This guy ain't no joke, yo. The type of people that he know, he's no kind of joke. He's no kind of joke. You think, who do you like? All right, my question to you is, who's the most powerful person in the country right now? Is it the president? No, it's not. He's like the president of McDonald's. And he just realizing that. In order for him to attack Iran, it had to come from somewhere else. It had to come from somewhere else. Okay? And they just used him to act on it. But this came from somewhere else. Because you don't hear Congress talking about it, do you? Because somebody else that got the power that's calling the shots. That's why. I'm just telling you how this country is set up, man. I didn't set the country up. But when Al Sharpton and this guy come forward, that means that the case is, because he runs a nonprofit organization, his thing is just to bring awareness to certain cases. That's all they're there for. That's all they're there for. And the reason why he made that joke to that dude is because that dude said to him, he was like, well, would you accept the truth? He said, would you accept the truth even if it comes back as an accident? He got mad with that. We all know it was no motherfucking accident. That's why he told that joke on him. That's why. He was being sarcastic to the dude because it's a brother. How dare a brother say that? No, damn well it's no accident. So now y'all understand? Now that's why he made that sarcasm joke. That's why. This is serious. If you guys don't know there's a secret war going on, I'm telling you right now, there is. And all we can worry about is the joke. No, the reason why he made the joke is that brother said that. What are you saying that for, brother? You know it's not no accident. Why are you saying that? Because you want us to say it? Okay, yeah, if it's proven that it's an accident, then we're gonna say it's an accident. And then guess what? Guess what? The other lawyer came back and doubled down on it and said, hold on, what's your name again? He asked his name for a reason. I told you go look at the man's last name. He's one of the J's. He said, what's your name again, sir? He was like, oh, I already asked what's your name though? I'm asking you. These people, this is a serious situation, man. We ain't got time to play games. This is a serious situation. They Emmett Till this man, man. In my opinion. This is a serious situation. I lost friends over this case. Man, because they don't know how serious it is because it can happen to their children. It's so dangerous out here right now. I want you to go look at the statistics, excuse me, from 2025 and see how many people went missing. Go look. And out of those people that went missing, I want you to go see how many of those cases that are legitimate missing person cases that has gone unsolved. Go look how many. It's over 100,000. That's how serious this is. And out of the 100,000, go see how many of a color. Go look. This is very serious. This is very serious, man. And they know it's serious. They know it is. They know that killings happen all the time. If you from South Central, you from Watts, you from Chicago, you from Oakland, you from Newark, New Jersey, Jersey City, all the 5 boroughs, Cleveland, Ohio, Nolans, Louisiana, you know that killings happen every single day. But what's the difference between that and this? That if you get caught, you going to justice. They be looking for you. We don't get away with murder too much. We don't. This situation here, they are fixing to try to get away with it. And it's right in front of our face, and they're gaslighting it. That's the only difference. We know that killings happen everywhere. But if a killing happens, you need to face justice. I said the same thing for Carmelo Anthony. If you stab somebody in the chest and it goes through your heart, right? And it goes through your heart, you need to face justice. You know what I said to a friend of mine? Because after the Carmelo Anthony got sentenced and everything, I said, I'm waiting for that case to come. Somebody gonna pay for this. I'm just waiting for it. He said, bro, you think it's gonna happen on the 4th? I said, it always happen on the 4th. If you know, you know. At next 4th of July, somebody is gonna happen again. It always happened when they celebrate the 4th of July. That's why I don't celebrate it. Something always happened on the 4th. I said, something's getting ready to happen, bro. And I'm beginning to think now, this meant to happen. That's what I'm beginning to think now. This was set up. He was what you call backdoored. This is a backdoor situation. And being that the lawyer said on Nancy Grace that his clients are not snitching on each other, he said it. And she received it. But see, what them lawyers don't know is she's an OG. She's never lost a case. And she ain't nothing to play with. They said that. They not snitching on each other. So let me explain to you guys what that possibly could mean. I'm not saying that they have no affiliation, but if they have a certain affiliation, and if there was enough people out there that witnessed it that has an affiliation, nobody's going to talk. Nobody. Mississippi has a rich history in the 3Ks. A rich history in the 3Ks, man. They have a rich history in the 3Ks, even still. But guess what? This is going to surprise you. I'm from New Jersey, born and raised. Who you think is worse, Mississippi or New Jersey with the 3Ks? Anybody know? It's equal. A lot of people don't know that. It's equal. They got the 3Ks here too. It's very equal. That's why I tell you when I run my business, I don't go out at night and go to their properties because I know what they look like and I know what their clubhouses look like. And guess what? About 3 weeks ago, I went to one of them, one of the clubhouses. I was like, oh shit. This is in plain sight. I saw it because I saw the emblem. They don't have the 3K emblems. They don't have that no more. They have different emblems. I saw it. I was like, I gotta deliver this. Because I do catering. I said, I gotta deliver this shit in here. So, I keep something on me. So I was like, all right. So if I gotta fight my way out of here, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do it dying. But everything was all good. Everything was all good. And I got up out of there. Right. Now, those guys, they didn't realize I knew who they were. They didn't realize it. They didn't realize it that I knew who they were, though. Right. Because they don't wear the hoods no more. They don't have the 3Ks on the building. They have certain other insignias on the building. It's in plain sight. And I'm not talking about the Elks Lodge. It's something similar. And when I tell you, when I went in there, how the guy looked at me, you could smell it because these kind of guys that practice this stuff, they have an odor to them. My dad taught me they have an odor to them. And he said they have an odor to them. And he said, if they try to attack you, it's either your life or theirs. He taught me this. He told me how to identify them. There's a way to identify them. There's certain things that you say out of your mouth to identify them. So let me explain one thing. This is going to help you with your kids. If you ever run across one of them, you're not going to know, you're not going to be able to identify them right away. But what they do is when you talk to them, they have this passive aggressive attitude with you. You have to be able to identify it. There's a because they when they see you, they automatically there's a hate. Automatically. They're gonna be nice to you. They're not gonna outwardly because they believe in integrating into society, right? In order to integrate into society, they have to mask their hate. But when they do come across you, there's going to be certain things they do to you. They're very passive aggressive. They gaslight and different things like that. And they got this look. It's a disgusting look they have when they see you. You have to be able to identify it. I'm going to have a whole video to show you how to identify. I'm actually going to go near the I'm actually going to go near. I can't go near the building because if I go near the building, they're going to see it and they're going to know I did it. So I got to protect myself out here. I have to go what you call under the radar. But I'm not afraid though. I'm not afraid because this is what I truly believe. I truly believe in being judged by 12 and carried by 6. I truly believe this. Okay. I truly believe it. And they know that I'm like that because there's an energy I give off. I don't give a damn if I have to use my hands, pick up a rock, do it with my keys, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Or I'd rather for you to just take me out because death is only temporary. Then I'm up out of here. I'm truly not afraid. And they know it. Once you truly have that, you're not afraid of them, they feel it. They feel it because the devil is scared. The devil is actually is a coward. You have to be taught this. This is something that you have to be taught. And if you're not taught, if you have any type of be agreeable with them or any type of showing weakness, they're gonna feel it. But if you don't show no type of weakness and stuff, they're gonna feel that as well, and they're gonna treat you accordingly. That's how I was able to get out of there safely. Because if it was a situation where they had tried to keep me, they would have had to get me on the spot. Because death is only temporary. That's how I truly believe. It's only temporary. Once you truly walk without fear amongst them, they'll know. They'll be able to act accordingly. I'm telling you this. This is true. They're not going to say I'm lying, and they probably listening. Now, when you run across them, like I said, they're going to have this like contempt towards you. It's going to be very subtle, but they're going to have it. They got to have it because that's their creed. They don't like you. That's their creed. They don't just like you. They don't like the Jays either. They don't remember this. They don't like you. They don't like the Jays. They don't like people from China. They don't like the Mexicans. But you know, they truly believe that pure white mentality. That's what they believe. Now, would they work with certain groups to get certain things done? Yes. Yes. They have integrated in all parts of our society. They could be police officers, they could be your doctors, they could be attorneys, everything. Construction workers, everything. Now, let me explain something you need to know if you run across that's a doctor. When you get a new doctor for the first time, and this is what I need you to do. I need you to ask questions. When you ask questions, pay close attention to how they treat you. Pay close attention because remember, they can't hide it if you know what to look for. So let's say if you go in there, you have high blood pressure. You say, and they automatically put you on this certain drug. I can't tell you what it is because I got to be careful. I can't tell you what it is. You have to hit me up on the back end. And even if you hit me up on the back end, if I don't like what your picture look like, I'm not going to answer you because I don't know if you're masking under another account. If you don't have a photo and if you have a new account and I can't identify like who some of your friends are, because I will research you, then I won't talk to you. You can't come to me with ghost accounts because it's not going to work with me. So you got to come with me with an open account. If your account is private and I can't identify who some of your friends are or whatever, don't come to me. And I'm not going to give you the information. But if you start asking them like, doctor, I have 5 questions for you. I don't want this and this and that. If they cut you off and they start being assertive with you, no, this is where it's going to be. Cancel that doctor, go somewhere else because you don't know if that person is involved in the organization. They will purposely give you stuff to get you up out of here. You didn't know that, did you? This is how deep it is. I told you they're in every facet of life. They could be your car salesman. You just never know who these people are. Are they as prominent as they were back in the day? Not necessarily. But we don't know what their membership is like today because they move a certain way now just to go under the radar. But if you know where to look online in certain subgroups, Reddit subgroups, you'll know who they are. You just got to go find it and you'll see what they be talking about. They have something also where they call hunting. I'm not going to explain it. I explained it before. They hunt and they just don't hunt deers. It's something called hunting. They will stalk you and see if you're somebody that they can target. I don't know if they do it like they used to do back in the day. They used to have this thing what you call picnics. Pick a ninja. picnics. They used to get somebody, get them up there on the tree, you know what I mean? And have food and enjoy them watching. They used to call it strange fruit. So when that girl was found on the road of remembrance, I said, message received. Now you might say, well, Max, it was a guy with dreadlocks that did it. Okay, message received. Message received. Now here's another thing to look out for. It may not have been him. It may have been his crazy ass. But if he end up in the next 5 years transitioning on out of here, then you know it was them. That's a way to keep his mouth shut. They got to transition you on out of here. When I say transition you on out of here, meaning that you go into the next lifetime, you're up out of here. All right, so you could say that, Raymond. I don't know. Sometimes I don't think they're human. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center continues to identify the 3Ks organization as an active hate group, describing the modern Klan as divided amongst relatively small independent factions rather than one nationwide organization. The ADL likewise described these Klan groups as still active, though many individual chapters form, split, disappear, or change names entirely quickly. Today, actively is more likely to involve propaganda, flyers, small gatherings, online recruitment, demonstrations across cross-burning ceremonies than huge public marches associated with earlier eras. The SPLC tracking also recorded Klan-related flyering activities as recent as 2025. So if you want to know that they still exist, the short answer is yes. But there isn't one single triple K group with one national leader like it used to be back in the day, controlling everything. Remember that one guy, he was a grand wizard. He became like a political figure. He said that he had changed his ways. I forget his name right now. There are separate Klan factions and related white supremacist organizations around the country. Now, like I said, their involvement, their activity is highly fragmented. Um, let's go over certain states. Let's go over Mississippi really quickly. Historically and more recently, Mississippi has had some of the strongest documented Klan activity. Remember, I said more recently. They had some of the strongest documented Klan activity of the 4 states I'm gonna mention. The SPLC records identified organizations around places including Jackson and Bruce. Although individual chapters frequently disappear, reorganize, or change names. Virginia, which I lived for over 20 years, has also had documented Klan organizations and chapters. I witnessed it one time. I witnessed a cross burning back in 2003. Historically, the SPLC tracking identified activity around Buchanan and Martinsville. Among other areas, the older listings should not be assumed to mean some chapters are operating there in 2026. But they were documented back then. They had Buchanan and Martinsville, but I argued that it's all over Virginia. New Jersey. Klan organizations have operated in New Jersey, including past activity attributed to loyal white knights. However, the ADL reports that the loyal white knights become defunct in 2024. with remaining members forming much smaller sacred white knights. Might want to write that down. New York. New York has also had documented triple K activity. Older SPLC tracking listed a chapter around Altamont, New York, that's upstate. Again, this is historical documentation, not something as of today, but you can best believe that there's somewhere up there. That's why if you notice on the election map, you might say, well, Max, New York is a blue state. You think so? You think New York is a blue state? You think, right? Well, the reason why the Democrats won New York is because of New York City and certain bigger locales. But look at how red the map was in New York. Look at upstate New York and how red it was. It's damn near a red state. Just to let you know. One significant change that I want to mention, that traditional triple K groups are no longer necessarily a dominant force of organized white supremacy. Newer organizations and networks use different names and aesthetics and recruitment strategies, sometimes intentionally distancing themselves from Klan robes and imagery while maintaining white nationalist and white supremacist ideology. The SPLC specifically describes newer active club networks as attempting to modernize an extremist movement they consider poorly suited to the social media era, right? So let me explain this. So it might not be, I call it the new triple K group. They don't call themselves that, they call themselves other things, but they have younger membership and they still have some of the same ideologies as the triple Ks back in the day. And these groups are not easily identified because these are younger people, but they do meet in secrecy and they're not going to tell you. They will have black friends as well. You know, they say, well, they got black friends. Things ain't. No, they will have black friends. This is the reason why they meet secretly. They plan and different things like that, and they meet secretly and they have different meetings and they have certain signs and symbols and handshakes that they use. A lot of it is Masonic. They just don't know it. That's why I can identify certain areas. Just how, because they move in a Masonic way. They do. They have different code words and different things that they say to each other. Like they might get on the phone, right? I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. If they, oh my God, we in distress. Hey, is he a member? Yeah, he a member. Can you get his membership number? Okay, I already talked to him. Oh, he don't need no more help. I already talked to him. He's a member though, but I know he's a member. Those are code words. I know that. Those are code words. You know what I'm saying? Those are code words that they use. That's why some people are thinking outside the box. Like, is this really going on? We don't know. This is something it's hard to prove, right? It's hard to prove the membership unless you come up on the clubhouse, unless you know where they're at and you can go in there and kind of take pictures. But you're not going to be able to do that because you're not going to be able to infiltrate these organizations. Now you can deliver, like I said, I had a catering order. They're going to think I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, you could put the food there. Thank you. They gave a huge tip too. Huge tip. I'm talking about huge. If I had known I was going to deliver there, I would have canceled it. It was a huge tip. Over $100 some just to go 2 miles. Huge tip. But then once like I said, they're not going to disrespect because they go under the radar. They have different agendas that they want to do. These people think 10, 20 years in the future. Like they pride themselves in people not knowing who they are. They don't normally wear tattoos or anything like that. It's nothing, but they have some groups, certain factions, they wear certain haircuts. And you say, well, what kind of haircuts do they use? It's called a gentleman's cut. A lot of them use that type of cut. If I see a bunch of people with that gentleman cut, I'm automatically going to think that they're an organization. Automatically, I'm going to know. That whole thing that was organized in Charlottesville in Virginia a few years ago when they had that unfortunate accident up there, when a lot of those guys formed, Well, what you don't know is one of the leaders, he did go to the University of Virginia, but a lot of the people that was up there causing trouble, they weren't even from Virginia. They had out of town plates. And what they didn't realize was it was going to be a lunatic that come up there and try to like trample over the crowd with a car. Every now and then, these groups have to be careful from, because nothing beats an ambush. Nothing beats a lone wolf. That's what they have to be careful even in this situation now. There's a lone wolf that's watching that will crash out. That will crash out. So they have to be careful too. This is a dangerous situation. So they don't have the same propaganda they used to have back in the day. So they're trying to really go under the radar. They're in every profession, like I said, of life. They could be police officers. I can give you a story. Someone I work with, when he was getting his doctoral degree, when he finished his doctoral degree, he worked for a government agency, and he was on a project where they have this. They're trying to like predict crime before it happens, and they have this like machine or whatever. But he was telling me about that. Then he said, "Hey man, you want to hear something crazy?" They were celebrating, his grandmother had a jubilee. I think she turned 80 or 85 or something like that. And he said she used to be a police officer. I said, "Oh yeah, out here in Virginia?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What, back in the day?" He said, "Yeah, back in the day. She's since retired." She was one of those police officers that worked in the office, but sometimes if she had to go out to help out, she would. And one time he said, man, she told me this story. They had to go out in this city in Virginia. They were having complaints that they had a Klan rally going on, and some of the neighbors were complaining. So she was like, "All right, we're going to have to go out there with her." They called her. They said, "We need extra help, so we need you to come out to help clear this up." She was a little scared because she knew what she was going into, but her partner that was going with her, he said, "Oh, you ain't got nothing to be afraid of." She said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, but these guys got hoods on." He said, "Yeah, they're not going to mess with you. Trust me." So when she got there, everybody started taking off their hoods, and she almost passed out. And a lot of them was her coworkers, and they was like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, good." She had to keep her composure because remember, she don't want to lose her pension. So she had to keep that secret until she was able to retire, until she finally put her time in and retired, and she got out of there. She wrote a book too about her time as a police officer and the things that she saw. Now, watch this. So, like I said, it's hard to document and see who these people are. But sometimes they have certain things in their social media posts. They will attack you. If you ever, like right now, they will come into my comment section on some of my videos and try to come at me that way. But I don't read the comments, so they can't get me that way. The only way they can get me is on a live chat. That's when I actually see the comments. I don't read comments other than that. The only time they were able to only time I really interact with people is on the live chat. That's why I go live a lot, because I don't read the chat or whatever. I mean the comments or whatever, but they do get you in the comment section. They gaslight you there. So they had found this in historical. They found 2 Texas sheriff deputies were fired after revealing KKK affiliations while trying to recruit other officers. It's also documented that Nebraska state trooper who participated in a members only KKK chat online, and 3 Fruitland Park and Florida police officers who were fired or resigned between 2009 and 2014 after Klan membership was discovered. So every now and then they do catch them. Every now and then. This historical case from Kentucky during an investigation of Triple K firebombing in Jefferson County. Police officer admitted that he led a 40-member Klan subgroup called the Confederate Officers Patriot Squad. Roughly half of those members were police officers. According to the report, he said that the department knew about his Klan involvement and tolerated it, provided he did not publicize it. There are more recent examples involving white supremacist organizations rather than your traditional Triple K group. The Brennan Center identified law enforcement officials with alleged white supremacists or far right. You ever hear that? The far right. Militant connections in Alabama, California. California, y'all not exempt. They out there too. California, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, Virginia, Washington State, and West Virginia, among other places. In Anniston, Alabama, for example, city officials learned that an officer belonged to the League of the South. I don't know if you guys know that. Research it though. Which the report identified as a white supremacist organization. He initially remained employed. And the concern reached the federal level. A 2006 FBI intelligence assessment was literally titled "The White Supremacist Infiltration of Law Enforcement." Stop right there. So they already know this, the infiltration of law enforcement. They've been infiltrating law enforcement from back in the day. It's just that a lot of people are not aware of it. They don't infiltrate at every parts of our society. So it warned about both organized effort and infiltrate law enforcement and officers sympathetic to white supremacists joining their own. They're joining their own. The FBI was particularly concerned that such officers could obtain sensitive information, compromise investigations, abuse their authority, or tolerate racist conduct. So let me stop there. Every now and then you might hear something. Well, they found the person was found hanging, and their hands were tied behind their back. Oh, accidental. Accidental. It's accidental. It's accidental. Okay. Well, how can somebody bound themselves like that so tightly and their feet and hanging all the way up tree is accidental? Okay. Congress held an entire hearing on this issue in September 29, 2020, titled "The White Supremacy in Blue." You can research that too. The white supremacy in blue, the infiltration of local police departments around the country. The House Oversight Committee, specifically called the FBI assessment, that's probably who Benjamin Crump and them is calling on. They're calling for a new review now. The House Oversight Committee specifically called the FBI assessment and said there had been repeated indications that the issue extended beyond isolated incidents. None of this proved, though, I have to say this, none of this proves that a particular officer, police department, judge, doctor, lawyer, teacher, or other professional is secretly KKK. You got to know how to identify it. You got to really have an investigation done. And it's hard to catch them though. But what I'm telling you is you might not know that they Triple K members if they have if they treat you a certain type of way, or they're just not trying to hear what you got to say. Let's say if it's a doctor, they're not trying to hear what you have to say. They have this certain, they treat you a certain way. You have to fire your doctor. You got to go to another doctor because you don't know who is who. So just to let you know that. But they exist though. But it's just hard to catch them. So I can't say this established that they deliberately infiltrated every profession, but you have to just use your common sense. So I have to say that as a disclaimer on this presentation. So Mississippi, their history, guys, get particularly very, very serious. Let me stop for a second. Mississippi is a very serious state. New Jersey is too, but Mississippi got Jersey beat. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but let me go back to the Emmett Till situation because a lot of them take pride in it. That situation, like I said, they claim that he whistled at his wife. They went and kidnapped him. They did what they had to do, right? So they knew it was something called double jeopardy. So they were found not guilty in that situation. The jury practiced what we call jury nullification, meaning that you know that people are guilty, but you're going to nullify it anyway. So that's what they did. It's perfectly legal to do it. But the judge, they never, advise the jury on that or educate the jury on that. You just either it's something you need to know. It's come up in the Luigi situation, but he's getting ready to look like he's about to plead out. But jury nullification comes up every now and then. So what happened was they were found not guilty, and they decided to do an interview with the magazine. They decided to do an interview, right? Because they knew it was something. Hold on a second. They knew it was something called double jeopardy, which means that you cannot be tried again for murder, even though you admit it after the fact. So they had a interview with a magazine. You can go online and Google and read the transcript. They described how they killed him. They enjoyed it too. They said he was alive through the whole torture. They described how they pulled his teeth out with pliers. They pull every single one out with pliers. And his fingernails were ripped off. And they did stuff with electricity. They took some of his bottom regions, put in his mouth, all types of stuff. The kid endured it all. And then finally they shot him and dumped him in the Tallahatchie River. So they enjoyed telling the story. Now, some of their offspring are still living right now. I don't know if they agree on what happened or not. I'm not sure, but they're around. I don't know if they agree with their ancestors did. I'm not sure. So documented instances of Mississippi sheriffs, deputies, and other officials who were KKK members or cooperated with Klansmen during the Civil Rights era, including the Mississippi burning. Some of you might know about that, the Mississippi burning case. That's a big case from back in the day, historically. The strongest example is the 1964 murder of James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner near Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Justice Department identifies Neshoba County Deputy Sheriff Cecil Ray Price as a Klan member. Price arrested and 3 civil rights workers jailed then contacted Klan leader Edgar Ray Killen and coordinated their release so Klansmen could intercept them. The 3 men were subsequently unalived. FBI later secured federal civil rights convictions against 7 men, including Deputy Price and Samuel Bowers, the Imperial Wizard of the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan in Mississippi. There is also striking development from 2026 during the move by Mississippi Department of Public Safety. Officials discovered a suitcase containing, this is in 2026, by the way, this year. They found a suitcase containing historical KKK material from the civil rights era, membership ledgers, meeting information, recruiting material, a Klan robe, and documents connected to the White Knights. Remember that name, the White Knights, still around. They don't have to call themselves the Triple Ks, but they can call themselves the White Knights. And then you got to look at their insignias and keep those insignias in mind just in case if you run into it one day. Or you happen to be driving in a rural area and happen to come across one of the clubhouses. Then you'll know that is there so that you can stay safe. All right, I need to get out of here. Or now you don't want to be around there at night. For sure you don't. The material was transferred to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History of Preservation and Study. The discovery is important historically, but it doesn't by itself prove that today's Mississippi Department of Public Safety contains active Triple K members. Like I said, in order to prove that somebody is an active Triple K member, you got to really investigate them. It's hard to prove, though, guys. It really is. It's hard to prove, but they still around, though. Let me see. Was this 2023 in the Rankin County Goon Squad case? 6 former law enforcement officers pleaded guilty after January 2023 torture of black men Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker. The officers beat and shocked the men, and one officer shot Jenkins in the mouth during a mock execution. They then attempted to cover up what happened. They received lengthy federal prison sentences in 2024. They were called the Goon Squad, but they were white supremacist members. They were suspected, excuse me. Of course, in the 1960s, Mississippi, actual law enforcement officers were documented as Klan members. In Mississippi burning case, the deputy directly assisted the Klan murder conspiracy. Today, serious cases of racially motivated and discriminatory police misconduct continue to occur. But you got to investigate each officer individually to find out their membership. You just can't say it. You got to actually look into them. You shake that tree, man, some of it might fall out, though. So with that all being said, yeah, man, it's something. They're still there, but they do a lot to hide their membership, and it's very hard to sift them out. But it's still very much active, and like I said, even in states like New Jersey, they're very active. Like I said, I ran across a clubhouse, and it looks like a Elks Lodge. You might think, oh, that's an Elks Lodge. It's not. It's not. You have to differentiate an Elks Lodge from their lodge. You have to really look at it and look at the insignias. And I couldn't believe it was one right on the damn door. An insignia. It was small. And people walk by, they're not going to know what that is. I know what it is because I studied it. I know exactly what it is. I say, fuck, I got to go in here. The tip was, they tip really well. If I had known, I wouldn't have taken it because all money ain't good money. If I had known, but now I got the address locked in now. So if I ever see that address again, I'm definitely not going. But since I had, because they ordered a bunch of food, they ordered soul food too. Look, and you know what the funny thing about it was? They ordered from a soul food restaurant that was owned by people of color that looked like me. That's where they ordered from. And I looked on the ledger, they always order from there. So yeah, they'll order from you. They will also frequent your establishments. But like I said, they hide in plain sight in society. So you have to know and identify what they look like and how they act and different things like that. But they all over the place, bro. All over the place. Now, in this particular situation, I just want to give you that information because some people don't know. Like, oh, I'm in California. They not around here. You bullshit. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They everywhere. Everywhere. They even have, they used to call themselves, some of them call themselves the Proud Boys. And then you have an organization, a bike organization. They're not, Triple K members, but they don't like your ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? You try riding on the highway. If anybody ever encountered them, with a motorcycle, try passing them on the highway if they don't let you pass. Sometimes they'll give you a signal to pass, but try to pass without them giving you the signal. They'll try to knock you off your bike, and they'll keep going. They'll just chalk it up to the police. Just chalk it up to an accident. You just had an accident. They kicked you. They might have kicked you. I remember my uncle told me, he said he ran across one of them and he passed them. And he stopped. He because he had a faster bike. He had a Hayabusa, and they had a hard time catching him. But he went 5 miles up, and then he stopped his bike on the highway, and then he took out his pistol, and he was aiming it as they went past, and they just like kept going. They ain't bothering him because he was pointing at him. And in broad daylight, this was in North Carolina. In broad daylight, he was pointing at him, and I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like, my uncle passed now. I'm like, damn, you could have got locked up. He's like, I ain't give a fuck about getting locked up. He said, because I know if they tried to catch me, they would have did something to me. He said, nah, yo, I would have just shot him. He said, what's the big deal? I just go to jail. He said, they'll know what it is. Like, they'll know who definitely I shot. He said, yeah. He said, if it was it's either my life or theirs. So he had an encounter one time. But this stuff exists, man. I hope nobody ever encounter something like that. I hope you never encounter it. I hope nothing ever happens to you and your loved ones. I'm not saying everybody that go missing every year is attributed to these people, but you got to understand, people go missing every single year. And I'm talking about the cases of 2025 that people actually called in to say their loved ones are missing. And those cases went unsolved. It's over 100,000. But some cases you have to minus out the people that just want to go under the radar. But some people went missing, they just under the radar. They don't want to be found. Some people are living overseas and they don't want to be found. Not talking about those people. And I'm not talking about the cases that they did solve and people were returned to their loved ones. I'm talking about the people that these are cold case files, over 100,000 or even more than that. So you got to understand how dangerous sometimes things are. I'm not saying that you have to be paranoid, right? You just want to know. But I just want to tell you that because Mississippi got a rich history of the triple Ks, man. And they take pride, and you might not know who they are. But let me tell you, in a case like this, and it ain't no snitching involved, ain't nobody telling. Oh shit. Now I'm like this. Now I'm scratching my beard now. I'm like, who are we dealing with? Ain't nobody telling? Because I know what you guys saying. Well, how we know it wasn't an accident? It could have been. But what if it was an accident and he did get murked? That means ain't nobody telling? Ain't nobody saying nothing? Oh boy. Oh boy. Now I'm really watching. I'm watching on the low though. I'm not gonna cover this every day no more. I'm just gonna watch on the low, just like that. Because what that lawyer said, he said they not snitching on each other. He said that. And then guess what? Bro, I'm watching the lawyers on Nancy Grace. He had a bottle of liquor in back of him. I said, oh, okay. I said, all right. I'm just sitting there. I'm going to have fun with this one now. I said, either them boys need a new lawyer or they screwed. Because he said they ain't snitching on each other. Straight up. He said it on Nancy Grace. But hey, man, I digress. You said, well, I'm from Los Angeles and we shut down the 10. You said, get what they start playing with George Floyd. You said it's up to the suspects' families too. Yeah. See, here's the thing. In this case, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? But you can't tell me right now, ain't nobody telling? Nobody? That's a red flag. Nobody's telling. That means that there's conversations that could be possible conversations behind the scenes. Like, tell if you want to and see what happened to you. That could be happening too. But let me tell you something. I took notice when them boys didn't offer the family no condolences. I took notice of that. I wrote it in my book. They didn't offer no condolence to the mother, specifically the mom, specifically. They didn't offer her any condolences. That's a red flag. I made a note of it. I made a note. See, you see, guys, we can't prove different things, but what I can do is I can write down different things that I do know. They didn't offer, see, because these type of people, they cannot offer condolences. They can't, because it's us against them. They can't offer it. They're not allowed to. And they did not want whatsoever offer condolences to the mother. They did not. In fact, they saying it's her fault for putting them pictures up and making it like this and that. They blaming her. So I had to make a note of it. I'm not saying that they're in the organization, but I had to make a note of it. Okay? I had to make a note of it. I had to make a note of it. They didn't offer no rest in peace. They didn't offer no condolences. They didn't say nothing towards the mother. They just blaming her. I had to make a note. I said, we can't improve. I can't prove certain things, but I'm going to make a note for later on. Because if you belong to different things, you cannot offer condolences to a ninja. That goes against everything of their creed. And I'm not saying they belong, but I had to make a note that they didn't offer no condolences. Because I know. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I know how dangerous, I know how funky it can get out here. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people like us like showing their teeth to them, like showing our teeth to them. I don't show my teeth to the devil. I don't. Some people like the good officer. He likes to show his teeth to them and think that he's included. But guess what? When he went out there, he felt it. He felt it. Because I could tell how he was talking. He was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? I know that's what he was thinking. Because remember, at the end of the day, he a brother still. I know he felt something, but he's not gonna admit it though. But he felt, I could tell by the way he was talking. But see, the thing is, he's too high profile for anybody to buffalo him around. He's too high profile. If something happened to him, not saying we would have give a damn, because I don't think the collective would have, but it would have been noted though. Now, some people are saying, well, how come that one kid, he looked like he getting skinnier? Because somebody put a root on him. Somebody must have put a rut on him. They don't believe in that shit, but I do. I do believe that this stuff works. You got to know how to pray that stuff off you. There's one lady said she's doing root work on him. And his ass getting skinny every time I see him. You said, hold on, let me see what you're saying. You said black people are people of compassion. Look at Tatum. He want to be, well, I can't pronounce, I can't, not that I can't pronounce it, but I can't say it. He want to be that so bad. See, the thing is, a lot of us, and they use a lot of us to do their billing work, to do their dirt. They use some of us to make it look good. They'll use us, right? They did that throughout history. There's certain people that you thought that had our best interest at heart, and they really didn't. They were actually working for the establishment. One of them was Dr. King, until he woke up. He woke up eventually. When he had an epiphany and he woke up, they murked him. Because what did he see? You thought he got murked because of the "I Have a Dream" speech. That's not why he got murked. He got murked because he was having a meeting saying that we're going to start boycotting certain brands and we're going to go after the Teamsters. Remember that? Remember that? That's Jimmy Hoffa and the boys. When he started saying all that, he's going to go after the Teamsters and certain organizations and different things like that. We're going to, no matter how you look, white or black or whatever the case you are, we're going to all come together He got murked immediately. Immediately, he got murked. You don't think that was odd that he used to meet in the White House with Lyndon Johnson? You didn't think that was odd? Because they use certain people. That's why. That's why I knew he had an affiliation. And like, okay, how did they allow him in the White House? Until he went against the grain. As soon as he went against the grain, they got him up out of here. You can ask any historian. Go inquire. I had a really good professor in college. She's a white lady too. I had a really good professor, man. And she sat and told us some real shit. She said certain things they're not going to teach you. And she said certain things they don't want me to teach you. She said, but what we used to do was I used to meet with her twice a week because I was getting a minor in history. And I used to meet with her twice a week for our class. And then it was at night. And then the class is over like 8 p.m. I had a night class. And afterwards, people used to leave. Then some of us used to stick around, and then she used to tell us stuff. She said, "Yeah, if y'all want to stick around, my husband, because her husband used to pick her up. He was real cool. I hope they're still with us, though. I don't know. I have to research see if she's still with us in this lifetime. And I don't know if she moved on to back to the essence and went on to the next lifetime. I'm not sure. I have to find out. But her husband knew a lot about history because she used to teach him, and he used to have a real long gray beard and really nice guy, man. So that's why I say in each person, each demographic, they're not all bad. Obviously we know common sense will tell you that. You have good people in every demographic. I don't need to tell you this. It's just common sense will tell you. Even in the civil rights movement, you had a lot of people from different walks of life participating in the civil rights movement, even Jews too. So, you just never know. Also, what kicked off the Civil War, I argued that what kicked off the Civil War was John Brown raid on Harper's Ferry. And certain historians, they like to say, well, that kicked off the Civil War. I think it did. But John Brown was a white guy. And they have this church, it's called John Brown Baptist Church, right? A lot of members didn't realize that was a white guy that the church was named after, but it was. He didn't believe in slavery. He just didn't believe in it. He didn't. He just didn't believe in it. He believed in his Bible. He said, according to the Bible, we ain't supposed to have slaves. So he took a bunch of guys, they raided on Harper's Ferry, and he got hung for it. So some people throughout history, depending on some white people, they got hung for shit they did for helping us. They did. So you have great people in every demographic, and you have some bad ones in every demographic too. We all know this throughout history. But John Brown, I be telling people that they laugh about it, like, real, he did. Yeah, he got hung. Even the lady, that house they met at, she got hung too. They hung her ass too. Craziness. And a lot of people say, well, was that what Django was about? I'm not sure. I think it might, because Django, that period of time that the movie was based on, that was right before the Civil War, or right when it was kicking off. So a lot of people think that the guy that was helping Jamie Foxx out in the movie, that was John. He played the character of John Brown, low key. And that whole thing they did was like the kickoff to the raid of Harper's Ferry, because John Brown, he equipped some people, and some people, like, they learned how to shoot and stuff, and they raided Harper's Ferry. So some people think that was a hint to John Brown's raid in that movie. I'm not sure, but because the director has never said that, he's never confirmed it, so I don't know. Some people think so, but I don't know. But she was giving me a lot of game. She was saying that she was telling us like certain things to look out for when it comes to the Klan. She said they still around. She said I live near some of them. She told me, she was off the hook. She said they smell a certain way. She even said it too. She was like, they're gonna have this like way about you. like how they treat you. She said they're gonna be nice to you. She said they'll take your money if they own certain businesses. Yeah, they'll let you come in there, but she said don't get caught at night around them. They'll get you. But she used to tell us that. She taught us a lot of things, man, just like, hanging back. I never forget her, but interesting though. She even told me, you can Google this. Every time Jack Johnson won a fight, somebody got hung in the South. That's a whole fact. You know what I'm saying? In fact, after his heyday, after he was done, and here's the thing, he got convicted on something he didn't even do. They call it the Mann Act, transporting white women across state lines for the purposes of debauchery. That's what they said to him in court for debauchery, right? And it took Trump to pardon him. Trump pardoned him. He said he didn't do nothing, and I'm going to pardon him. So don't think for a minute that this Justice Department won't get involved under his watch, because he's watching. See, they think he's a part of him. He's not. He's not. He's for himself, actually. He's for himself. But if that lawyer that has, that last name, he got enough pull on who he knows in Washington, expect the Justice Department to get involved soon. Expect it. And he don't give a fuck. I'm just telling y'all this. He's for himself. He don't care about them. He don't. He worried. He got bigger fish to fry. Every time he golf, he got those surface missile defense systems on the golf course now. He's not worried about people in Mississippi, fam. He's not gonna get down with y'all. He's not. He's not getting down with y'all, man. He not. Why would he get down with y'all and Tiger be having dinner with Tiger Woods, yo? See, they thought when they voted for him twice, make America great again. He just used y'all because y'all was stupid. He used y'all. He don't give a damn about that, man. He don't. You really thought he really cared? Like he was y'all great white hope? No, he was not. Not when you have Tiger Woods and Mike Tyson and John Jones at his dinner table. He don't give a fuck. He don't care. He's like, yo, I got to get this real quick. They understood what he was doing, though. I understood it too. He was for the benefit of himself, not y'all. You see, his brother, his son-in-law brother owns the Lakers now. That ain't by accident. That ain't by accident, yo. His son-in-law brother. He's from New Jersey. I know who they are. They from New Jersey, South Jersey. Okay? He owns the Lakers now, along with the other dude. How did out of all the people, all the billionaires, right? Out of all the billionaires in the country, his son-in-law brother got an opportunity to buy one of the most prestigious teams in basketball? That don't have a ring. That don't the saxophones don't go off to you. No, not the saxophones. The bells don't go off in your head. How was he able to do that? Because look who's sitting in the White House, yo. I'm just telling you, he got real power, yo. See, you guys didn't realize how much of a thinker he was. Y'all didn't know that because y'all not from the tri-state. I knew that the mob couldn't touch him back in the day. Why? Because he had former CIA and FBI as his bodyguards. They couldn't touch him. I knew how he was. I was like, oh shit, he already said he's gonna be president, but he gonna do it a certain way. He backdoored y'all. He became president. He did it twice. Fuck, yo, he did it twice, yo, and nobody's still like, oh yeah, he really mean it. Make America great again. You knew what that was code word for. Make America great again. Go back to the good old days. Going back to the good old days, right? That's what that was code for, but he ain't mean that. He didn't mean it. You should have known he didn't mean that when he pardoned Jack Johnson. You should have known. You should have known he was moonlighting. He wasn't really, he was masquerading. He was masquerading the whole time. Now he's doing some stuff y'all don't particularly agree with. Like that stuff that he did in Iran. You're like, wait a minute, what is he doing? That's not helping us. I told you. Told you, man, you gotta look and see who he down with. You got to look. You gotta look. But see, it's history now. But these people, man, they were some kind of mad. Yo, I know they were. They were some kind of mad. They thought America's gonna be great again. Now, some people's like, damn, Max, when was it ever great? In their mind, they want to go back to the old days. That's what that meant. But anyway, you remember he used Charlie Kirk in them, didn't he? Remember? They was champion for him, remember? He used them, but then after he got back in, Charlie, he got knocked off, and they was like, hey, Mr. President, your friend, give us some words about Charlie Kirk. Then he changed the subject and talked about something else. I was like, that man's cold, yo. That man's cold. But I'm just saying that because of these organizations, if this lawyer is successful, because I know they're thinking, nah, man, the Justice Department not gonna get involved because we got such and such in the chair. Bullshit. I told you all this to let you know that y'all might be in trouble, especially if the feds take over. Y'all might be in trouble. Then you might say, well, under his clock, how is he gonna let this happen? He don't care about y'all. That's why. Shit, go ahead, let him do it. Here, I'll sign for the resources. Go ahead, y'all do it. Do what y'all gotta do. I'm over here trying to figure something out with Iran. I ain't got time to deal with them people down in Mississippi, man. Half them couldn't even sit at his fucking dinner table and eat. He don't care about y'all, man. So I'm just here to tell you. God put me in this position to tell you he don't care about you. Okay? If the Justice Department get involved, you guys are out back. Because they probably already looking. They probably low-key just kind of looking here and there. Now, why you say that, Max? Well, if the Justice Department get involved? Because I honestly believe, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, if the Justice Department don't get involved, the Department of Justice, and they just leave it to Ocean Springs to their devices, we ain't gonna never get no answers. People this is my opinion, people too much in bed with each other down there, if you know what that means, to even for them to get no answers. And for them to hold this press conference makes me believe that the family is in the dark. They're not telling them anything. Because they did meet with the DA, but they probably don't like the answers they're getting. They probably don't like it. It's too quiet. So this is their way of putting pressure. Let's call the Congressional Black Caucus already called for it already. So the Congressional Black Caucus called for it, and now they're calling for the Department of Justice, Cash Patel and them to get involved. So they're trying to up the ante now because they're not getting no answers. So that is my presentation, and that's how I understand it today. I'm not going to be covering this every day anymore. Every now and then I will. I got another video already pre-planned already, but after that, I'm not going to be talking about it on the daily anymore. I already did enough. If I reach one young person know how to move down there now, then I done my job. Y'all should know how to move now. I don't give a damn if you out doing DoorDash. If you in their neighborhood, do not do it at night. Always do it when the light is out, so you can see what's going on. So they can't at least use that. Oh, well, somebody was on my property. I thought it was a burglar and shoot your ass. Because in certain organizations, they actually get exalted even higher if they murk somebody. Yeah, it's true. So especially they can get you off and get one off and get away with it. That's like status for them. To actually get one, you caught one and got away with it. Yeah, man. There was video that took place a long time ago. This is when what was the it's trying to make a comeback. What is the name of that thing? Um MySpace. I don't know how MySpace just defunct like that, because they could have easily been another Facebook, but what happened was there was a video circulated one time of this girl, looked like she was out of it. It was a girl of color, and it was a bunch of white guys around. They put a rope around her neck and hung her. I saw it. And then the video was circulating for like 24 hours and they deleted it. And some people say, Max, I think they snuck in a snuff film. I think that's what it was. You know, they have those out too. They call them snuff films. They used to be prevalent back in the early 2000s. I never willingly watched one, but that one I think was inadvertent. But that video was taken down. They used to have those too. And they used to be on the dark web. I don't know how prevalent it is anymore, but I knew it used to be on the dark web back in the day. And some people, they pay for that stuff. You make good money on those films in the dark web. But a lot of those are what you call lynchings. And they still go on. I know they say that they can't verify a lynching anymore. But that young lady that they just found in Jackson, that's a lynching. But yeah, they're gonna say, well, the guy with the dreads did it. Bullshit. Bullshit. I don't believe that. That's not our MO. I don't believe that. So that's just how I feel. Just like when the boys are sitting there, the young men are sitting there and recanting their story, I don't believe them. I'm too educated to believe them. I'm too educated on shit to believe them. They're gonna have to show me receipts of everything. Now, that video that they're showing, they said this is when we were making the call. How come y'all ain't wearing the same shorts? No, y'all not. Y'all not wearing the same shorts. Now you know what they're gonna say? Oh, we changed our shorts. It's routine for us. You know, we were in the water, we changed our shorts. But I just wanted to note, y'all don't have the same shorts on when y'all were posing with Nolan. He had the same shorts on when they found him, but y'all didn't have the same shorts on. So my question to you guys is this: what date did y'all take that video? Was it on the 4th, or was it on another date? Was it on the 4th, or was it the 5th during the day? When did y'all take that video? That's what I want to know. So when Nancy Grace said, when the lawyer was getting an attitude with her, because she was like, okay, yeah, that was when the CETO called. But do y'all have the metadata on that photo so we can see it? She don't even believe it. Y'all need to show her receipts. Yeah, y'all need to show me receipts too. You're not going to sit up here. I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I want the metadata. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Y'all ready? Drum roll. We can get the metadata from that photo. We're going to have to, that's a subpoena to their cell phone company, whoever took the picture. Okay, who took that picture? Oh, you did? Well, we can subpoena that information to find out the metadata from that photo and find out if y'all really took that photo on the 4th or not at around 4:30 some p.m. If not, then that photo is not non and void. We're not going to believe you. Now, what do you want me to take your word for it? Because the lawyer said that photo, that's the proof that, it was nobody in the boat. Okay, but you want me to take your word for it, or can you give us some receipts by way of metadata? You see how they got an attitude with her? You're right. Just as shows your bone, you can't fool me. And y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about because y'all Southern. I said just as shows I'm bone, just as shows I'm bone, you can't fool me. I want the metadata. Because it seemed like y'all telling stories going to bed. Y'all know, they know what I'm talking about because they Southern. That's some old Southern talk. They know what I'm talking about. Y'all got stories going to bed now. Y'all got stories going to bed. So check this out. Like I said, The photo, that's why they get an attitude, man. They didn't even want us to see those photos. You remember the photo that they showed of Nolan taking a photo with them on the boat? They didn't even want us to see that. They mad about that. You know why? Because they know damn well them shorts ain't right. Y'all got different shorts on. They don't want us to know that. Because you think about, why would you get mad for us plastering a photo with you guys on the floor? It's no big deal. It's just showing that he was out with friends. But they didn't want that to be shown. But I looked closer. I said, there's something about that photo. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me look at those shorts real quick. Nolan got those shorts on. When he was standing on that boat, people think it's Nolan, the same color shorts. When the dude, even in another photo with the dude said he was on the phone with Cito, I saw him in another photo. He ain't got the same shorts on. So my question is, Mr. Lawyers, what date was that photo taken? What date? Now you might say, well, Max, they could have changed their shorts. They were out in the water. They want some fresh shorts on. I know, but shorts usually dry up though. I just want to know what date it was, because I'm thinking it's a different day now. Now the photo with Nolan when he was there with the friends, that was taken on the 4th. You know how they got that? I think Nolan might have snapped that. That might have been a snap. That came from Nolan's phone. Remember they said she think a lot of stuff was deleted off his phone? Well, you have to subpoena that information. I'm thinking they probably already done it. Because they don't look good. His mother really don't look good no more. It's like she found something out. She don't look good at all, bro. She had to get off the stage like she gonna pass out. It's something they found out, yo. She don't look good at all, bro. You remember it was reported that they all took down their social media accounts. My question is why? Oh, I get it. I get it. You're being threatened. I get it. I get it. Okay, you're being threatened. Okay. But my question is this: if anybody know, I'm gonna close with this. When they deactivated their accounts, was it before or after they found the body? Guys, I'm gonna end with that. Okay. I'm gonna end with that. I'm gonna end with this again. When they deactivated their social media accounts, when they deactivated their social media accounts, was it before or after they found the body? Y'all, I'm out of here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. My bad. Let me see what we got in here. What's up, Ryan? I'm not out yet. What's up, Ryan? How y'all doing? I didn't want to go through this whole soliloquy without saying hi to my people. What's up, Chantel? Hold on one second. All right. Let me see. All right. So check this out. The reason why I said all this information is so young people can have the history, because a lot of people don't have the history. So now they have it. Now they have it. Y'all have the history now. And that's just for you only, for you guys to know, for anybody to know. Because some people, you'll be surprised, certain things about history they don't know. There's certain, because they don't teach it in school no more. There's certain things I don't know either, but I'm uncovering it every day. So now you know what terrain you're on, so you know how to navigate it. You know that there, you know where the enemy is. There's certain insignias you look for. And the only thing I can tell you, these clubhouses, they look like the Elks Lodge and Rotary houses. That's what they look at. They look like. So what you do is if you run across another Rotary house or Elks Lodge, take a picture of those insignias and then compare them to another lodge you see that got different insignias. And you're gonna look for this. There's certain thing you can Google it online, the insignias you look for. And once you see them, like, okay, that's something right there. You can identify certain lodges. They have them in New Jersey, and especially more specifically South Jersey. So, because I tell people the South starts in South Jersey. That's where the South truly starts at. It starts there, really. And actually, no, let me stop. It's in Maryland. I would say, because I always move. For me, the Mason-Dixon line is South Jersey, because it ain't no different than certain rural areas in Virginia I came across. But the true Mason-Dixon line is not right there though. But for me, it is. So the mentality is the same. But you just have to be aware. You just have to know this stuff to be aware. You have to know, for young people, learn what sundown towns are, because the sundown towns really started in New Jersey. So really learn what those are and what those mean. Then you're gonna know. Then you're gonna understand why cops be sweating you all the time. You're gonna start to understand it, and then you're gonna start to deal with them with your mind. Always deal with them with your mind. Always have a dash cam in your car. Always have your cell phone running in your car or your dash cam. You got to deal with these people strategically. All right. And shit, if you inbox me, I can even tell you what certain lawyers to look out for and what certain lawyers to get. Because when you suing, sometime they usually take the stuff pro bono. It just depends with lawsuits. Usually they take it pro bono if you got a good case. Just like Ben Crump said, they can't weaponize it. We're gonna go after people and sue them and all that for our opinion and asking questions. You just have to know how to put pressure on them. You don't say, well, their clients killed Nolan. Don't say that. Just say that we have questions and we don't believe them until they give us some receipts. You can say that. You can say that all day. You can say that something don't smell right here. That's your opinion. You can say certain stuff like that, but you got to know how to deal with it. So that's just how I want to say it there. You said they threatening that audio lady. She still has her social media pages. Yeah, but see, she didn't do anything. She just turned up the gain, different stuff like that, so we could hear the background. The reason why I would be mad too, because that audio is not good. I heard something in that audio I wasn't supposed to hear. That's why. I'm about to jump on the Tupac case now because like I said, I'm not gonna be covering this daily. So you know I'm about to go. But I already know how the Tupac case is gonna end though. He's gonna be found guilty for being stupid. And I'm about to start vlogging on Keefe D. He's gonna be found guilty for being stupid. Okay? He's already snitched on himself. He already placed himself in the car at the shooting. Okay? He's already placed himself there. He said if he happened to be on the side where Tupac was, he would have did the shooting. He even said it. But what he want the jury to believe is that he was lying. Uh-uh. If I was a juror, I don't even take 20 minutes to find him guilty. It'd be 10 minutes. Judge, we got a verdict, judge. Or I might wait until after lunchtime. At least I get a free lunch off the deal. Yeah, he going to jail, bro. He done. And they didn't even need Suge testimony to do it. What's up, T Breeze? What's up, Ryan? They didn't even need them. What's up, Sybil? Wait, there's another press conference? Well, what was that press conference we just listened to? Hold on. No, we already did it. I think it's done. We already listened to it. You said, yeah, content creators going off topic because gossiping is different when informing and wanting justice. All right, so I had made a video. I don't know if you saw it. I'm glad you made that. So this lady, she chopped and screwed what the lawyer said. He said his client, he said, unfortunately, Nolan Wells wasn't found on his client boat or something like that. But she made it seem like Nolan was found dead on his boat. So I made a video on it. I said, nah, she's not getting that off. She tried to get it off. She got hundreds of thousands of views too. So she made money. That's a money grab. So when the lawyers say you got some hustlers and stuff like that, that's what he mean. But he's not talking about all of us. They're not going to come after you for your opinion. They're not. And your critique. They're coming off you. If you blatantly said Bart did it, they coming for you for sure. See, a lot of these content creators, they did the same thing in the Diddy case, but Diddy didn't go after nobody. And what did I say during the Diddy case? I hope he starts suing. Because they did the same thing there. And they did the same thing in the Carmelo case. They were lying. And some of them people on this case lying. So yeah, they probably should go after them. I'm not saying you lie on these boys. What if they didn't do it? What if they know who did it? We don't know. But what if they look, we about to cooperate. Look, we ain't do this. We know who did it though. So we have to wait and see. Because we don't know. We weren't there, even though they not acting right. They're not acting right at all. They're not. Okay. But if you come out and say, yeah, Bart, he did it. This how he did it. Yeah, yeah, they coming for you for sure. They coming for you, man. Because I would come for you, even if you ain't got nothing. You know what I would do? I would sue to get your channel taken down. That's what I would do. I would do that. I said, okay, so if we can't agree, judge, if we can't agree on a monetary value, let's agree that they can't be on no social media platforms for 5 years. Let's do that. Okay. You know, it's always things you can negotiate. But critique, they don't care about your critique because you need receipts, right? Even your critique need receipts because that's what the critique is for. We need receipts. Like he said, well, my clients weren't there. Well, do he have receipts? It's not now they get pissed though if you question them like that. Yeah, they'll get pissed, but that ain't nothing to take you to court over. Just because you asking for receipts. Just like because that's what Nancy Grace did. She said, okay, I see the picture, but do you have the metadata? And then he said, well, we got 2 fine citizens from Ocean County that saw Nolan. She said, okay, but do they have receipts though? Okay. Do they have receipts though? Like, we're not going to take their word for it. I don't care if they're fine citizens of Ocean County, Ocean City, or Ocean Spring, excuse me. Do they have receipts that they saw Nolan around 6 p.m.? See, that's how I think. Yeah, they couldn't answer. Yeah, do they have receipts though? Now they saying they got receipts. Because the good officer, he got another video up now saying the boy is showing receipts. Okay, so if they got receipts, yeah, we like to see them. But if them receipts look janky, I'm gonna say it look janky. So I am gonna go watch that video and figure it out. But I like I said, I have to get to other stuff. We're gonna do I mean not the Suge, the Keefe D stuff. I'm gonna vlog on that today because I already know what he gonna be found guilty, Ryan. Keefe D. Because he already told on himself. He wrote books on the murder. He don't interview countless of times on the murder. He admitted that he was a bigwig in the gang. You see what I'm saying? He was the guy that he's like a shot caller. That's Keefe. He had a name in the game. That's Keefe D. What's up, Jen? Like that. What's up, Tony? That's Keefe D. You said if these guys walk, how disenfranchised you think the black community will be. But when you mention the black community, you can't do that because everybody don't know about this case. Some of my friends never heard about this case. I know some people that ain't even on the internet. So when you say the whole community as a whole, you can't do that. Or you might be thinking this might be the case that it's on everybody's radar. It could be, but a lot of people I know don't even know about it. But it could be like on everybody, like something for them. No, I don't know. I don't know if this is the case, bro. Those days are over. Everybody's not willing to do something. So, which is okay. We all don't think the same. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, here's the thing. You want everybody to crash out? Because that's what they want. Like, they got all the power. Like, we crash out, then what? So it's a very it's a topic that need to be discussed though. Like all this stuff that's going on. But the other side, they always gaslight. Just like what that kid say during the interview. They making it about race. They the ones want racism and they making it about race. What? He shouldn't even be talking. He think he's smart too, Jax. He think he knows something. He think he's smart. He think he's smart, man. He a dumbass. You know? At least the one on the all the way to the end. I forget his name. The one not Warren, the one that was all the way to the end. He knows how to shut up. He didn't talk that much. At least he knows how to shut up, even though when he finally opened his mouth, it wasn't nothing of substance either. But damn, you know, when anytime you got a lawyer and he got a fifth or whatever liquor in the background when he was interviewing with Nancy Gray, he had a fifth of liquor in the background. I said, oh shit. And then he said, my clients ain't snitching on each other. When I said, I almost hit the floor when he said that. I was like, his clients might need another lawyer. They might. Him talking like that. I'm almost thinking he said it on purpose just to get him. I don't know. You want them all to keep talking? Yeah, because when they talking, you start to hear the saxophones get louder. The saxophones get, because what's his name losing weight? He is. The man losing weight, man. Yeah, this case is something else, man. But we'll see what happens. I'll be watching to see. But I want to get on that Keefe D situation. Luigi Mangione, he's trying to cut a plea deal with the feds now. So we'll see if that plea deal goes through. Try to cut a plea deal. But I don't think he's going to see the light of day again. It's not going to happen. Warren is stressing. They all look bad, Ryan, in the interview. The only calm one was the good officer, Officer Tatum. He was the only one that was calm. He was sitting there kicking it. Everybody else is stressed. He was kicking it. And did you notice he didn't look away at all? He was staring at them the whole time. He didn't even look away. He said, I think they know something, boy. Ryan, oh man. You see the lawyer with his arms crossed? Like, golly. Warren, boy, his neck, boy, you could see the difference in him. I'm like, damn, Warren, you eating? You stressing that bad? Damn. Well, he claimed that he was selling books, Chantel. It was just he was making up stories just to sell his books and do his interviews and make money. He sound convincing to me, Keefe D. You let him tell it. He was the biggest gangster. Okay. He even told the story on when they shot Tupac, how Tupac was trying to climb in the back seat to try to get away from the bullets. And he laughed about it. And how he was like a shot caller. So he's the only one to convict. Everybody else that was in the car is dead. He couldn't link Diddy to the case because they were trying to link Diddy to it, saying that he paid to have it done. But they said that the alleged payment went to this guy named Eric Von Zip. But Eric Von Zip never gave him the money. And he's dead too. He's no longer living. Everybody involved with that case is dead. Except for Suge and Keefe. And Suge doesn't want to cooperate. And I knew because a lot of people thought Suge had something to do with it. I knew he didn't. Because Suge got shot in the head. So I knew that bullet almost killed him. So I knew he didn't have nothing to do with it. It was too close. It was too close for comfort for him to set that up. In my opinion, I think they know what happened as well. What do I think they know? I don't know. We don't know. I can't even speculate. But just the way that they were looking in that interview, it's just it didn't. I'm about to go look at the next interview to see if they redeem themselves. I'm about to look because it says exclusive part 3. Nolan friends bring receipts. They bring receipts, guys. So I'm about to go look at it. But anyway, I'll be back. I might come back to cover that. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'll be back. I said I was over with this shit, but then he got part 3 out. Nolan friends bring receipts. I almost can't resist this one. Y'all check that out. Let me know what y'all think. I'll be back a little later. But all right, guys, thank you for joining. I appreciate y'all. I will be back a little later. I just need a little break. I'll be back a little later, and then we'll go from there. All right, y'all. I will catch you guys in a moment. Let me see what we got here. Let's see. Yeah, I might come back. I don't know yet. We'll see. All right, guys.